So last week's raid at a Hyundai plant in Georgia was one of the largest immigration raids in recent U.S. history. For more on this, we're joined by Professor Choi Hyun Jin, professor at the Department of Political Science at Kyung Hee University. Professor Choi, thanks for joining us this morning.
Morning, thank you for having me.
So U.S. officials say this was a months-long federal immigration operation and that they've been collecting documents and developing evidence for months. What's really behind this raid?
I think this case has both legal and political sides. Officially, U.S. authorities have announced that some of the Korean engineers worked at their LG battery and also Hyundai plant with a proper visa. For example, some entered the United States with the ESTA or short-term business visa like B1, but worked on construction sites, which is not allowed under the current U.S. immigration law. However, in the past, U.S. officials have often tolerated this kind of a practice, especially during early stage of the huge investment. So the timing and the scale of this raid feels very unusual. And this happened in Georgia, which is one of the key swing states in American domestic politics. And also the second term of Donald Trump has strongly focused on the enforcement of the illegal immigration. So this raid seems to send a clear political message. So even big foreign investors must follow every American immigration law and each part of the American first policy under the new Trump administration. So of course, some opposition lawmakers in South Korea argue that this might be some retaliation measure for the recent special prosecutor's investigation of the Osan Air Base, which is jointly operated by South Korean and American forces. But we should be cautious because there is no clear evidence that links these two different events, and premature speculation could harm our diplomacy. So what is clear is now over 300 Korean engineers and workers are detained, some even in chains, and the video was made public, and this created great shock in Korea. And Korean government responded very quickly, and they successfully negotiated with the American government to release our workers as soon as possible. But going forward, both governments must work together to improve and prepare the visa system for our huge investment project.
Right. And industry insiders in Korea say that because of the nature of construction work, companies have often relied on the ESTA visa waiver system or on short-term visas like the B1, like you just mentioned. The latest rate is now expected to, sort of change this, right?
Yes. So this case really shows that the limits of how foreign companies operate in the United States, especially in big industrial projects. So in this kind of project, companies often need to send very skilled workers and engineers to the United States for short-term jobs, like setting up equipment or stabilizing production lines. But here is the problem. The proper work visa, like H-1B or H-2B, they take 2 or 3 months to process, and also they are very limited in number. For this region, for Korean companies investing billions of dollars in the United States, obtaining H-1 visa is not really realistic. So many of them used these short-term options like ESTA or business visa in the past. So until now, this practice has often been tolerated by American authorities, but under President Trump's second term, U.S. immigration is becoming much stricter. So I think this is more a political issue because there is a growing America first mood, and also any foreign worker, even temporarily, can be seen as taking a job from America. So unless there is a clear visa pathway for this skilled worker, we may see some more disruptions in the near future.
Right, and the latest raid was a shock to many because South Korea is considered a key U.S. ally, and it actually comes less than 2 weeks after President Lee Jae-myung held a summit with Donald Trump in Washington, D.C., and after Korean companies, including Hyundai, actually agreed to invest tens of billions of dollars in the United States. How do you think the latest immigration raid will impact bilateral relations?
That's true. The timing of this immigration raid is very unusual and also very sensitive. It happened just a few days after President Lee Jae-myung met with Donald Trump in Washington, D.C., and also not long after Korean government announced a new round of huge investment in the United States. And that's why many Korean people are confused and even upset to see this kind of event. And yes, the United States has a right to enforce the law, but when over 300 Korean workers are suddenly detained, even in chains, and without any notice or prior consultation with the Korean government, that crossed the line. And it's not what we can expect from a trustworthy ally like the United States. And this sends a troubling message to Korean business. So even if you invest billions of dollars in the United States and create American jobs, your workers may still be treated rather unfairly. So looking ahead, I don't think this incident will destroy the Korea-U.S. Diplomatic relation or alliance, but we have to acknowledge that this has created a crack in mutual trust. So to fix this problem, both governments need to work seriously, especially about a realistic and also legal visa system between the two countries.
Right, absolutely. A lot of issues still left to resolve right there. All right, Professor Choi, I'm afraid that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for your insight. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.